Speaking of good business, New York Red Bulls are doing business with RB Leipzig. Caden Clark, the youngster, the teenager, will be joining RB Leipzig. He's going to stay with the New York Red Bulls on loan for the rest of the season before going over to join Tyler Adams and Jesse Marsch. Big picture here, Ale. What does this mean for Major League Soccer?
It's the similar conversation that we had about Brenden Aaronson, and is that you are seeing academy products, players that have gone through all the stages within their club. They get to the first team, they're successful with the first team, and then they open doors somewhere else, and they're able to then find success somewhere else. And I think it's a great story for MLS, it's a great story for the New York Red Bulls, it's a great story for the Philadelphia Union in terms of Brenden Aaronson, and those are the sort of stories that you want. Here's the only thing that I would say. These stories are happening once every so often. It would be ideal if this were happening with more consistency. The reason we make a big conversation about it and it becomes a topic for us is because, hey, there's another young kid going over to Leipzig, going over to Europe, going elsewhere. Those are all positive, but we want this to be the norm. We don't want to have to get excited every time a kid makes this jump. We want this to be what is supposed to happen. Yes, we nurture talent, we develop this talent, and now this talent is ready to flourish, whether that's MLS or whether that's somewhere else. And when that becomes the norm, when that becomes something that we now accept as the reality for MLS, that's when we'll know whether MLS has become the league that we want it to be.
I feel like it's starting to become the norm, but only for like a few teams, right? New York Red Bulls, definitely one of them. I think Philadelphia Union put into that category. FC Dallas as well. RSL plays their kids a lot. Let's see if they start, selling them on to Europe as well. We see more and more of this from MLS. It's obviously, it's great for the league. It's money for New York Red Bulls. The one thing I would say from a fan perspective, if you're a New York Red Bulls fan, I wonder how you feel, because it's not like Tyler Adams, who you see at the top of this list, who played a couple years, helped you win a Supporters' Shield, was a part of some good teams. You got to fall in love with the player and then send him off. Caden Clark's going to be here for basically his breakout season, and then he's gone. When you put it in the context of RB Leipzig and how they treat Salzburg and how they're starting to treat New York, does it feel a little minor league if you're a New York Red Bulls fan?
Well, I think what it feels like is that we are in a position where MLS is more of a seller league than it is a buyer league. And so I don't know that MLS wants to shy away from that, and I don't think that New York Red Bulls or any other team should shy away from that, because you need that return on the investment that you've put forth on this player in particular. In the case of Caden Clark or in the case of Tyler Adams, you have invested time and you have invested money in this player. You need to see return on that investment, whether that's playing for you on the weekend or whether that's on millions of dollars that whatever the potential sale of this player would be. That's the business of soccer. And it's the business of soccer not only in Europe but around the world. And if you want to strengthen your academy, if you want to strengthen that ability to continue to nurture and develop talent, well, you need funds to put into that system. And where do you get that money from? Well, some of that has to be the fact that you're able to sell players. You have to be willing to accept this. It's not the best part for the New York Red Bull fans, but guess what? It is part of the reality of transactions around the world. And if you want to be a major player around the world in terms of what you do with transactions, then this is a byproduct of that.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.